And Mr Chairman, I think we finished up in a position where we have a fair compromise.
I look forward to the Honourable Shane Jones, who knows that the debate on clauses 1 and 2 is the time for the summary of the debate, and this is about the miscellaneous and transitional provisions. Honourable Shane Jones.
From the far north to the deep south, I greet you, sir. Having returned from Waitangi and other such far-flung places, and never having enjoyed the opportunity during the committee stages to visit a modest level of oratory on the House, I'll take on board what you've had to say. So I would like to start off, however, by saying that in order, sir, for that Shane Ardern's words to come to pass, there has to be a bit of compromise on both sides. But I want to direct our attention back and follow on from what Damien O'Connor, and taking on board the admonition of the Chair. So it's not unreasonable in this stage for us to challenge the efficacy or the adequacy, not so much of the transitional provisions, etc., but the safeguards, sir, the safeguards as to whether or not what is proposed, beyond all the sort of parliamentary brouhaha, sir, because that will have come and gone. And this will be well down the track, sir. This will be back into the innards of Fonterra. This will be back, not even necessarily, sir, at the minister's table. It will be with the stable of bureaucratic advisers. Now, sir, during the course of the Select Committee process, they had a task which they needed to acquit themselves. And in fairness, sir, what they're paid to do, they by and large delivered for their minister. But the point remains, sir, at a deeper level, it's not unreasonable for members on this side of the House to continue to raise the concerns and to question as to whether or not, for example, that the trading scheme does not come to pass, sir. The alternative process, can we be confident, sir, that the key stakeholders in the farming community will either be listened to, or will it be that those, sir, who enjoy the corporate leadership of Fonterra, they'll be the ones whose voices are amplified, whose voices, sir, carry the day. And as parliamentarians during the Select Committee process, time and time we will warn, sir, once the large rhetorical battle is over, and then, sir, it moves into almost a regulatory phase, subsidiary levels, sir, at a subsidiary level of legislation, and we've got every right, sir, to put on the record here, have it entered into the annals of the journals of the House of Representatives, sir, that we fought this, sir, till the final point. Why? Because it's not unreasonable for us to remind you, sir, it's not unreasonable for us to remind ourselves that once this fund is set up, without a legislative cap or without a legislative safeguard, we do depend, sir, on the constitutional processes within Fonterra. And at one level, sir, as we've been said, it's their business. But Fonterra itself is a creation of this House. So that makes it the business of legislators. And for those reasons, sir, at every opportunity, this side of the House will continue to remind our friends on the Primary Produce Select Committee, and indeed key stakeholders within, sir, within the farming community. Because once it leaves here, another dynamic takes over. Now, so I don't want to inquire as to whether it's dumb capital that will fill the $500 million order book, whether a smaller amount will actually step up to the plate, but we need to be absolutely sure, sir, that this provision, these transitional provisions, regulatory making power, actually allows for a threshold of safety and reassurance. Because as day follows night, sir, if it doesn't work out, this is where they'll come back to. First, sir, to the advisers, after the litigation, which will be driven rather humorously, I might observe, by both sides that sort of comprise my DNA, the Dalmatian and the Maoris, but rest assured, sir, they will definitely litigate going forward, and we'll see, sir, an example of what Telecom put us through. Yes, well, I'm sure the Dalmatians have got too much money. For fear of losing what slender Maori votes I still attract, I won't say that about my own people, Mr O'Connor. But, sir, I would remind the Minister that, of course, on this side of the House, we're champions for the industry, but in the absence of compromise, Minister, You know as well as I do what they told us recently in that great talkfest to do with cooperatives. The great cooperatives of Manitoba and that part of Canada have all disappeared as a consequence of people being asleep at the wheel and allowing, sir, privatisation to sneak in and ruin the core foundations, sir, of their cooperatives. And, sir, we remind you that you must not, under your watch, allow such a thing to switch into gear here.
Tim McIndoe.
I move that the question be now put.
The question is that the question be now put. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. We have the Minister's amendment, so we'll take that question first. So the question is that the Minister's amendment set out on SOP number 72 be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote. I think I understand the member has a point of order relating to a previous vote. We'll deal with that immediately after this vote. So the clerk will now conduct a vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
8 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes in favour.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
The ayes are 64, the noes are 57. The Minister's amendments are agreed to. So the question now is that Part 2 as amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. The ayes have it. Aye. Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
8 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes in favour.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
The ayes are 64, the noes 57. Part 2 as amended will stand part. Point of order, Stephen Browning.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I seek leave to amend the vote for Mana for the Minister's SOP on Part 1. Mana voted 1 opposed, and I inadvertently voted in favour for Mana.
Righto, so that's to the Minister's amendments that were set out on SOP 72, 73 and 82.
That's
and
right.
The member is seeking leave to change from Mana's no vote to an aye vote.
The other way round.
The other way round?
Yes.
You got that? Right. Leave is sought for that purpose. Is there anyone opposed to that course of action? There appears not. Leave is granted. The record will be amended. It is corrected by leave. So we move now to the debate on clause... schedule. Yeah. So the question is that the schedule stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. We move to the debate on clauses 1 to 3.
Mr Chairman.
The Honourable